Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the stories, insights, and practical tools for living a fuller, more empowered life. Our today's guest is Paul Roseberry, a relationship coach, matchmaker, a stand-up comedian. Paul has worked with top CEO, educator, and professional athletes, helping men build confidence and create a deeply rewarding relationship. He is the creator of Security Method, designed to help men understand the roles in the relationship while creating win-win outcome for both partners. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show, Paul.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here. This is I'm excited, especially with you telling me that the time difference. I'm flattered, man.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. It's a pleasure having you on the show. So, Paul, what were some of the challenges or choices that shape you into who you have become today?
So as far as challenges, man, I always tell everybody I just had a really awkward childhood. Childhood's awkward for everybody, I think, mostly. But mine, like, we were pretty poor. My parents had cars that, like, my dad and I would spray paint his cars. It was pretty rugged. I was fat. I was a fat kid growing up. That was really uncomfortable. I hated that. And then my parents, they raised me vegetarian, and that was in the 80s. Like, nobody knew what a vegetarian was. Now it's common. Like, there's whole restaurants for it. But then it just got you beat up. Kids just didn't want to hear about it. And to make it worse, I stuttered. So, I just caught it all, man. So really, yeah, it was a pretty awkward childhood, and just taking that into dating later on, it was impossible. No way.
Yeah, wow. It was a way world, but like a different world entirely. Being fat, having to start to. So, how did your journey begin, and how did you start on learning a whole lot of stuff and building the confidence that make you create what you did today?
Yeah, really what happened was, I was from a small town in New Hampshire. Everybody knew everybody. And
Yeah.
so even though, like, I got in better shape in high school, and, I bought my own clothes and stuff, I looked a whole better, but I started eating meat, thank God. But even by high school, I still felt like I was the young kid from elementary school. You know what I mean? I still felt like I was the kid who had a hole in his sneaker, and everything was uphill. So it was hard to shake that stigma. When I got to college, which I didn't get accepted to college, I just showed up. I just went anyway. I knew that's where the girls were. That's where the parties were. So
Yeah.
I actually snuck into college. I picked a couple classes I knew a lot of freshmen would be in. And I just showed up on the first day and acted like I was in the class. And it was just a great way for me to find out when parties were. And I started to just I just talked to every girl on campus. I felt like a new person. Nobody knew me. My old story didn't have to carry with me if I
Yeah.
didn't want it to. And even though I didn't fully shake it, of course, but I just kind of turned a new page and I started fresh. And I just, and I always say, I had jobs where I would just talk to people. I didn't just talk to girls. I would talk to everybody just to build that comfort of talking to new people. I was a grocery store cashier. I was a waiter. I just really felt like I wanted to learn about people. I wanted to learn what makes people
Yeah.
tick. I wanted to, like, watch people's expressions and watch what conversations are like, and almost like a robot in a way.
Yeah.
I would just really take notes, and that's what got me to where I am now, is that I've always taken really good mental notes. I'm a very analytical thinker in that way.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Paul. So,
Of
Paul,
course.
can you explain the security method and how it
Yeah.
helped men build stronger relationships?
Man, I couldn't be more excited, and I hope your listeners enjoy, because look, my wife teases me. She says that I say every relationship the guy is struggling. I'm like, most. It's not a few, it's the majority, it's most. So what the security method is, Benny, it came to me when I realized there's a lot of power in deciding you have the ability to walk away if the relationship isn't healthy. And that sounds so obvious. It sounds so obvious. Of course you'd walk away if it's not healthy, but no. Most people don't get into relationships just because they find somebody interesting and they think that person finds them interesting. I think a lot of times people maybe probably don't realize it. People get into relationships with others to solve a need. And when you're using a relationship to solve a problem for you, then you're never going to be in a real relationship with the girl. She's never going to be in a relationship with you because you're using her. And nobody feels like it. Most guys don't feel like this. They go, oh, that's not me. But if you feel like Say this girl's too hot for you. We've all done that. You know what I mean? We've all gone out with a girl. You're like, man, that girl's so hot. If she would go out with me, I'd be so much cooler. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we've all been there. If you feel that way, it's already over, man. It's already over because she's making you feel like more of a person. She's making you feel, and of course, we want to make each other feel good. Of course, we want to make each other feel good. But kind of like some guys will buy a Ferrari and they make sure the key is hanging out of their pocket. You know what I mean? They want to make sure they go buy an expensive hat and they make sure, you know what I mean? Like the brand is showing, like it's because they need it. Or some women do the same thing. They get a Louis Vuitton bag, spend $7,000 on a purse just so everybody thinks that they're more special. That's sad. That's really sad. And if a relationship is making you feel in a way that you would be afraid to lose the relationship, you know what I mean? Like it would be too devastating to you, no matter how bad it is, then you're stuck, man. You're really stuck. And there's no security in that. You know, like we've all seen it. We know guys, you know, like, dude, I've seen women rip on men. I mean, just like insult them in public, you know, like just mean, like just not their friend, but it's their wife or their girlfriend. So security, what the security method is based in, I refer to security as the ability to protect that which has value. And the first step is before you get into any relationship with anybody else, you've got to look at the relationship with yourself. You've got to really take a look at who you are, and you've got to determine that you have value. You have to. Because if you're using somebody else to make you feel like you have value, then they're valuable, not you. You know what I mean? Your value's connected to them. Your value's based on them. So if they ever leave, then you're worth nothing in your own mind.
Yeah.
You can't live that way, dude. You can't live that way. So I say, you know, I work with guys. I work with men and women, but I focus heavily on men because men don't take the time. Nobody does. But to take the time to get excited about you, you have to get excited about yourself. You know, you got to take some time and ask yourself, who are you? What do you want? When people don't feel valuable, man, in my matchmaking, I've met beautiful women. Beautiful. They say any guy with a pulse. I'm like, you're kidding me. Come on. And they say, come on, no guy wants to be with me. And you're like, are you kidding me? A girl with a cool lifestyle and great looking, but the self-esteem is this big. I've met guys, kind of the same idea. And so you can't, it's like going shopping with no money. You're going to be a beggar. You know what I mean?
So true.
Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. And if somebody throws you a bone, then you feel like it was charity. So you got to really continue to kiss up to them. It's take time and figure out, what do you want from a relationship? You know, do you want good communication? Do you want someone who likes to travel? Do you like someone who likes to, you know, go to sporting events? What is it? What are you looking for in a partner? And you start to build that. And then you say, what do I bring to the table? Am I a good communicator? Am I a good, you know, person who gives advice? Am I affectionate? Like, what do I bring to the table that makes me attractive to someone who's looking for a partner? You know, and go through a list, and we can talk later. I have people work on the exercises. I call it the fives. 5 things that you're looking for in a relationship. 5 things you bring to a relationship that are valuable. 5 things about you that you just think are cool. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what it is, like, and just figure out, like, some people don't know what they're into. I've had guys, have you heard of Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons of Dragons.
It's a nerdy game for nerdy dudes. Okay. That's what it is. It's what it is. And dudes who are into it, they'll tell you it's a nerdy game for nerdy dudes. Sometimes these guys will be like a little bit embarrassed that they like to play Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a group thing. You know what I mean? They play online with other people and there's teams. And they'll be like, yeah, you know, they think a girl's not gonna be like, you're a nerd. No, you got to get excited about it. You got to say, look, I got something I'm into, and it helps me build team building skills. It gives me a community. I play once a week. I know the people I play with. It involves strategy. I got to use my head. Because when you ask the guys, well, why? If you think it's nerdy, why do you play it? They'll start telling you, well, it's actually really fun, you know. And then they start getting excited. You go, tell a chick that's what you're into. Tell her. Tell her that you love this game and tell her why. Dude, no one has lives. Very few people have a cool life. Nobody does. They like to act like it on Instagram. Nobody does. So you go tell a girl who doesn't really have that much going on. She's a good person. She's nice. She's, you know, but you go tell her you got this thing you're into and you're passionate about it. She'll be like, shit, I guess it's kind of cool. I guess Dungeons and Dragons is a cool nerd game. I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
So how it is cool.
Yeah, amazing. So how did your journey as a matchmaker and coach led you to develop this principle of relationship success?
Sure. So I had already started to build the platform, as far as the concept of the security method. I had a lot of the principles in place from my coaching and just from my observing. Like, I observed this stuff first, then I started coaching, and then from there, I got into matchmaking because I really wanted to immerse myself in people who are seeking love, people who are seeking relationships. And I wanted just to get my hands in there and be able to have a lot of people that I could run these principles by. I want to tell a lot of people about these views and ways to navigate relationships. And I worked for two of the largest matchmaking agencies in the United States. I was doing, sometimes 60 dates a month, that I would be sending people out on. Yeah, big numbers. And there were people that would be making millions of dollars a year. There were people who were blue collar and they were just, put some savings into it to make it happen. My principles held true. It's what I was hoping I would find, because I'm always down to grow. If I'm wrong, I want to know and I want to improve. And there were certain things that I did learn. Of course, I've learned more from the matchmaking and I've grown, but what I brought in, it was received well, very well received. And I learned, so the majority of my clients, I'd say at least 2/3 of my clients were women who were middle-aged. They'd been divorced once and they were looking for a new relationship. And consistently across the board, they all told me when I asked them, well, what do you want? And they would tell me, I want a leader. And these were like, I don't know, politics over there, but over here things are very divided, red and blue, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. A lot of these women were very liberal. So they're going to be more of like the feminist, pro-women kind of thing, which is great, sure. But these were feminist women, liberal women, I would say, who were like, I want a man who can lead.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude. Straight up. Like every single time. Every single time. And then they would say, I want a man. And I was like, I know you do. You do. And what's crazy though, is that Benny, there's some stats here in the US anyway. As you probably know, greater than 55% of marriages end in divorce. Yeah. That's been going on a long time. If you listen to a lot of interviews with divorce attorneys, you'll find that 55% is the number that actually divorce. Then there's another 15 to 20% who meet with a divorce attorney and don't go forward with it. Yeah. Maybe it's too expensive, they get cold feet, whatever, but they were that upset with their relationship that they were meeting with a professional to consider it. So you figure you're at 75% safely of people who either have or have wanted to end their marriage. And then you get into numbers that are pretty wild. Over 70% of divorces in the US are initiated by women. Now I'll clarify that number. Women who have a degree, a college education, the number is 92%.
92%.
Over 9 out of 10 women who get a divorce, they're the ones who asked for it. They're the ones who want it. They left him.
Wow. That's really a whole lot. So from your experience, what is the key factor that people often miss in saving or improving a marriage?
Security. Man has to understand what it means to deliver security. It's critical. And we go back to cave minds. Go back to the cave mind. We're still cave people on some level. You know what I mean? Like we still have a cave mind. A woman, whether she has kids or not, whether her plan is to have kids or not, when she gets in a relationship with a man, something in her mind says, okay, if I become pregnant, I'm going to be vulnerable for 9 months. Then I'm going to have a kid, I'm going to be vulnerable still. So she looks at a man, subconsciously, she looks at a man and she says, are you strong enough that when I'm pregnant and weak, not weak in a bad way, but, vulnerable, can you protect us both? Can you do it? And if the answer is no, you're dead. You're dead. You are dead. Because you go from an asset to a liability. And when I say protect, now, we think of security in basic things we're all familiar with, like if a guy's got muscles or if he can fight. Okay, that's security. Helps. It's a start. If a guy has money, then he can have a good home. He can afford food and clothing. That's also security. Yeah. But the real security is, the ultimate security is, do you know how to protect your own value? And what that comes down to is, Benny, the hottest word, in your opinion, does any word come to mind if I said, what is the hottest word that a woman could hear from a man in general? What is, and maybe you don't expect it.
What would be the hardest word? I think it might be, I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
Let me offer you this. This is a fun word. I believe the hottest word that a woman could hear from a man in the right context, of course,
Yes.
is no. 100%, brother. It's no. Because listen, if you find this girl attractive, so does everybody else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Realistically speaking. And so there are a lot of guys who don't know if they bring anything to the table. They don't know if they have any value. So they're going to beg. They're going to beg to get a chance with her. And everything is a yes. What do you want? I'll buy it. Where do you want to go? We'll go there. Yes, 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 yes. Anything you say, I say yes. Is that real?
Yeah.
That ain't real.
Yeah, it isn't really. So true.
It's cool for a
Yeah.
week. It's cool for a month. But that's not real because you know what the thing is, man? If you have the ability to say no, that means you have the ability to protect your own
Yeah.
space. If she starts getting crazy, she's testing you. She's just seeing, like, hey, she wants to know if you're nuts. If you say yes too many times, she's going to test you a little bit and be like, yes to anything. And when you finally say, no, that doesn't work. We're not doing that. I don't
Yeah.
think so. Then she goes, okay, you're not drunk. You're not crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to say yes just to anything because you need me. You're real. You can tell me no. And no, here's the beauty of no as well. You probably know life will make you crazy. Life is pretty hard, man. This is no place.
Yeah.
This is not a vacation, man. Life is nuts. Life is hard, hard. So in life, if you're not careful, the pressures of life will shift you as a person. You know what I mean? They can make
Yeah.
you angry. They can make you bitter. They can make you confused, and you can lose your way over the course of a lifetime. Part of the reason that we get into relationships is because we need someone to tell us when we're being crazy. We need it. And it can't be just some dude in the street because we all get yelled at. You know what I mean? Like we've all been yelled at in traffic. We've been yelled at, whatever, in a parking lot. But you got to have your girl, and your girl needs you to say, hey, honey, let's go over here for a minute. Whoa, that was a lot. That was a lot. Not in front of people. You don't call her out. She doesn't call you out. You have respect. But that's where no becomes real. Because if you can never tell her no, what happens 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road?
Yeah.
All she ever heard from you was yes, yes, yes. Do I look good in this dress? Yes. What if you don't? Do I look like I've gained 20 pounds? Is it real? Am I being unhealthy? Should I quit smoking? I don't know, whatever. Sometimes, no. Like, you need a no. She's got to know you're honest with her. That's security. That's security. When she knows that you're honest with her, then she can relax. Because women, they're keen, man. People in general, men and women both, but women especially, I feel, they have an extra sense of looking out for their own protection. Because they're going to be a mom one day. They got to look out for their baby.
Yeah.
Men, we can just run off into the woods and never come back.
Yeah. So true. So true.
It's true. That's why the firstborn always looks like the dad, because like nature wants the dad to feel like he can't leave, But women, if they feel like you only say yes, then they go, oh, okay, so this isn't about me as a person. You like my looks. You like my money. Something about me that unfortunately isn't my personality, which means if it is looks, she's going to be real with herself.
Yeah.
Women are pretty down to earth in ways that we don't realize. They'll say, okay, so you're just with me because you think I'm hot. That's cool. I've seen who's out on the streets. There's 100 women as hot as me. So what happens in 2 years? What if I gain 2 pounds? You know what I mean? What if I, whatever? You're going to replace me in 5 years? We get serious. You take up 5 years of my life. And then you think a girl 5 years younger than me is hotter. And then so you just take her because all it is looks. Yeah. Then she has no security. She has no way to feel like this is real. And that's not going to make her comfortable. It's going to make her nasty, actually.
Yeah.
It'll make her nasty.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Also, Paul, what advice do you have for men who are struggling to understand modern masculinity in a relationship?
You know what it is? For one, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. There's a lot of talk these days about toxic masculinity. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about talk. You know what? Because the people who came up with that term, they abused it. I don't think there's such thing as toxic masculinity. There's jerks. Some guys happen to be masculine. They're men and they're jerks. It's not toxic masculinity. They're just shitty people. If I can say that on here. But I would say get comfortable in who you are. Take the time, man. Take the time. Ask yourself, literally, what do you like to do for fun? Are you into horror movies? Are you into reading books? Whatever it is, get to know yourself. Start to make this life about you. Benny, a lot of people live a very response-driven life, not a proactive, but a response. Like we live in a way that we don't have any control. We just do what we have to because we got to eat, we got to have clothes, we got to have a roof. So I got to go to this job. I don't want to be there. I got to go to this thing. I don't want to do it. Take a moment and collect yourself. Ask yourself, this is one thing that is your decision. This is your pick. You're picking a partner, hopefully for life. Step into your manhood. Be a man for a minute. For yourself and go, okay, what do I want and why? Aside from looks, yeah, you got to be attracted. Of course, she's got to be attracted. But then, who do I want to be with? You know what I mean? What kind of girl? I want someone who does the things I like to do. Well, maybe I don't know what I like to do. Great. This is an opportunity for you to learn about yourself. This is a chance for you to learn. Everyone's favorite topic is themselves. And I'll tell you, the people who don't look at themselves, they don't look inside of themselves. The reason, and it's a lot of people, the reason is because they don't think they'll like what's in there.
Yeah, so true.
And you've got to look, man. You've got to look. I always compare it to this. Like I have an equation for confidence, and I say confidence occurs when your assets are equal to or greater than the demands of your task. So simply put, say you're going to the store. You want to buy a loaf of bread. That loaf of bread costs $5, right? There's the bread. It's on the shelf. There's the price tag, $5. Now, if you have $5, you can feel completely confident when you walk up to that cashier, you can make an exchange and you're going to leave the store. No one thinks that's confidence.
Yeah.
It is. Of course that's confidence. It's exactly what it is. You understand the task. You understand what is required of you to make the exchange. And you know you got $5 and it's going to work. Now, here's the problem, man. A lot of people don't want to look in the wallet. A lot of people don't want to know if they have $5. A lot of people think they don't. A lot of people think they got about 10 cents.
Yeah.
But they still want that bread. And that's why they get nervous, because they know that bread costs $5. They walk up to the cashier and they're going to be like, this is going to get weird in a minute because I don't have $5. Of course it's going to be weird. You got no business being here. But in reality, if you take a minute and you learn how to look inside of you, you learn how to look in your wallet, you have $5.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amazing.
You do. You probably got 10. You probably got 20. You just got to look at yourself. You got to take, and it's a big risk, but you got to do it. You have to do it. Then you can relax. You walk to the counter like the man.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Lastly, what is the most important lessons you have learned about personal growth and self-understanding that shape your approach of coaching today?
Yeah, it never ends. It never ends. Have the guts. Have the guts to do it, man. Have the guts. You've got to, honestly, you've got to build a life that's exciting to you. It's your life that has to be exciting to you first. You're not going to be attractive to anybody else until you're attractive to yourself. Yeah. And the most important thing in your life can't be impressing another person. That's boring. And it's weird. That person's going to feel like they live under a microscope. You're going to give them too much attention. They're going to always wonder, like, I'm the most important thing in your life? That's bizarre. I want to be important. I want to be valuable. But get out there. Figure out what you want from this life. I don't care how old you are, whatever, where you're coming from. Decide what you want, and maybe it'll change. Maybe you decide right now, okay, today I think by this time next year I want to be doing this. And then you work at it. And if you change your mind, you're like, all right, you know what? I got into it. That's not really for me. Whatever. Pick something else. Be interesting. Interesting people, interesting and interested.
Yeah.
That's the way to put it. You know what I mean? So that's, I'd say, the number one thing is get excited about you, get pumped about yourself, and mean it. And then when you go out there, hey, buddy, the tables turn quick because you're only gonna date one girl real seriously. You're gonna date a lot of girls to meet the girl you want to be serious with. But at the end of the day, you got to cut it all down to one.
Yeah.
Don't be nervous about getting every girl to like you.
Yeah.
They're not all gonna like you. I don't care who you are. But if you remember at the end of the day, you're holding an interview too. You're narrowing it down to the one girl you like the most, and you're taking time out of your passion to spend with her. You'll win. You will get what you want. Yeah,
amazing. Thank you so much, Paul. So, Paul, from our audience who would love to connect with you or reach out to you either for your coaching section or to connect with you to further the conversation, where is the best platform and how can they reach out?
So you can check out my website, paulroseberry.com, as it's on the screen there, ROSEBERRY, paulroseberry.com. Shoot me an email, Paul at paulroseberry.com. Ask me any questions you want. If you want to talk about a consultation, I do one-on-one coaching. I get you set up. I help you come up with a great plan. There's some really cool things that we can do together to get you to find someone you're really excited about, and also to get you excited about you. I do a lot of one-on-one work in that way. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Paul Roseberry. You can find me. I'm out here. Hit me up anytime.
Thank you so much, Paul Roseberry. Your work reminds us that confidence, self-awareness, and emotional understanding are the foundation of fulfilling relationship. And it's really, really a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for the load of insights. And for my audience who would love to connect with him, it's coaching section 2. Check the show notes and you're going to see the link. Once again, it's a pleasure and honor having you on the show, Paul.
Thank you so much, Benny. It's an honor. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. And thank you for staying up late. You are amazing.